Hello everybody, it's Diana with stampingwithdie.com with this week's Teach Me Tuesdays, and it's episode 73. So we're off by one because I didn't do one last week, so I had to go back and change my calendar. I thought, oh, I'll get all these numbers on the calendar. So I think I put all these numbers for months out, and I'm like, oh, now they're all wrong. So there you go for planning ahead. So today I'm going to talk about masks, and so these aren't the ones that we have to wear on our face, but please wear your mask. No, these are the fun masks to give you like a decoration or add a little something to your card without adding any weight. So that's what we're going to, hi Rhonda, that's what we're going to talk about today. So let me flip the phone and we will get started. All right, let me make sure I can see on the computer. Yes. Okay, very good. Okay, so, like I always mention, so here is the hostess code for March. So, gosh, what do we have? Two more weekends? One more weekend of March? This year is just flying by, ain't it? All right, so this is the hostess code for March. And, we're also doing the, I'm still picking winners for the mini cut and emboss machine as well. So if you are ordering before the end of the month, please use the hostess code unless you're ordering over $150 before tax and shipping, and then you don't want to use the code because then you're your own hostess. And don't forget also that this is the ink center for this month, and I'm actually going to use these today too. So when you order $75 before tax and shipping, I send those to you with your March thank you card in April. So, hi, Bonnie. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about masks. So I've done a few cards lately using, and you know what? The mask I used is in the laundry room because I used it again and I washed it. But, so that was this fun little card here. So you can see the little polka dots on the card, and that was basically with one of the masks. You get 3 different designs using one of our amazing blending brushes. I am so addicted to these, and an ink pad, and that gave you that cute little design. I also have used things around the house. So I've also used, this is just drywall tape. So it's like mesh drywall tape. This works good too. You just want something that, basically that you can use your brush over. Hi Barbara, hi Stacy. That the ink can go through. So let's see, what else have we used? We have also used this one right here. So these are the square vellum doilies, and I think I have used these a couple times. So this works great too, and this is just like the cardstock vellum that we have. And look how cute it is on this card. You can see it in the background here. And this is actually one of the make and takes for the upcoming Over the Border Spring Social. So you kind of got a sneak little peek. Now they have all got their PDF, so they've seen it too. But you can see how cute it is in the background using the little doily. So those work awesome too. If you don't have, you can also make your own. So I used the chick. So this is the chick die. Oh, the time change. And the drywall tape is nice because it's sticky. So it'll stick just to the it'll stick to the paper, and then it doesn't move all around, and then you just peel it off. All right, so we wanted to use the chicken wire. So for the Over the Border Hey Birthday Chick class, this came from the chick die. So we sent everybody a couple of the little die cuts already out. All we did was tape them together. And look at the cute design we have on here. So now you can see, I'll get a little closer so you can see it. So this shows that chicken wire, and all we did was laid it down and moved it around here and there. I think we did on the inside too. You can see it a little better too. But it just gives you something to blend your brush through. So that just makes you think differently in regards to some of your dies and things like that. So that's what I was doing. I looked through the catalog, and this one is the potted succulent, and this one is an amazing one to use too. So what I did was I did it on the cardstock vellum. Now this is beautiful in itself, but now I have made my own mask. You have to be really careful because they are delicate. So you don't want to be using them too much, but you also want to try it out with your die. So like I was looking at the Stitched Be Mine, because sometimes when it punches them out, so this is the Stitched Be Mine, and it's just cute little hearts. So what comes out of the paper, you'll have this, and then that's not very usable. But this is what comes out. So these are. Now, what I would probably do is I would do something very similar like I did with this one. And I would do a few of them, and I would tape the edges together, kind of nestle them together, tape the edges together, and then you would just very, very carefully sponge through them. All right. So that kind of gave you just a quick little tips or whatever in regards to the how do you use your sponges. I have a bunch of sponges, Barbara. I don't have one for every color, but I have quite a few of them. So, you know, I've got ones. I use Pool Party a lot, so Pool Party, you know, has its own. So some of the colors I haven't used a lot yet. So right now, like some of the blending brushes just say orange. So till I really start using it orange a lot, like if I find that I'm using pumpkin pie a lot, maybe one will get changed to be a pumpkin pie. Otherwise, you know, it's good. And then you just want to use a towel, you know, and you can get that ink off there if you want to use, you know, another color like this in particular. But I have quite a few of them. I won't tell you how many I have, but a lot of them have their own color on them. Okay, so here we have the die that I made with the succulent. So today I'm going to be using the Springtime Joy stamp set. And I'm going to use a couple of the greetings from Welcoming Window. Now, sometimes what I like to do is I will gravitate towards a greeting that is photopolymer so that I can see through it. So when I'm stamping on the card, I know that I'm going to be straight. This one is a rubber stamp. Now, I personally prefer the rubber, but when I want to make sure, and I don't want to have to stamp them, not stamp them a jig, but a Stamparatus or anything like that, then I usually gravitate to photopolymer for the greeting, if that makes sense at all. All right. Now, if you are going to stamp your greeting and cut it out and all that kind of stuff, then it doesn't matter. But I wanted to stamp directly on the card, and I just didn't want to risk boo-booing it. All right, so let me reach up here, and this is what I'm going to be using. So I have basic white thick, and that's going to be my card base. We'll get that creased and set aside. I have stamped 2 of our cute little lambs so they could dry. So while they're sitting up there, I do want to stamp the inside of my card. And I'm going to be using that greeting, like I said, which is right in front of me. And it's going to say, get my pad open. So it's going to be sending sunshine for a beautiful birthday. So that's going to go down on the bottom, and I'm just stamping it with the memento. So I'm stamping it down here. And I also want to add, so this is the cute little chick from the Springtime Joy. I just love this little chick. Oh my gosh. She has such attitude. So there she is down there. And I also want to use, hi Jeannie, I also want to use the butterfly from that set as well. So it's going to go right there. Now what I'll do is I'm going to set that aside to dry as well. Okay, so now we're going to pick our basic white regular. I'm also going to be using Purple Posy and Highland Heather. Now, keep in mind, Purple Posy is one of the in colors that are retiring. So if you don't have your Purple Posy stuff, you want to get it now before it runs out, because it won't last. All the in colors usually go pretty quick. So you definitely want to make sure you get them now. And Purple Posy, even though we had a couple issues with the ink pad, you can still get it in the blends, and there's some beautiful ribbons and the papers, so you want to make sure you grab those. And as I say this, you know, when I'm doing the video, or if you're watching the video later, they could be gone, right? By the time you see the video or whatever, because they do, I swear, they go quick. All right, so I'm going to be using Pool Party. And it seems to be the one I kind of gravitate to with my masking. I don't know why. It's just such a pretty light blue. It adds such nice color in the background. All right, so I'm just, let me get my little grid sheet. I'll just use a Post-it note. I'm just going to use Post-it note. All right. So I'm inking up my blend. So I'm just inking it up like this. Let me move this away so you can see. And then I'm just going to rub it a little bit on the Post-it note just to get off any too dark blue. And then I'm just going to rub. Now remember, this is a die that I made. It's just vellum. So you want to just, you know, be delicate with it. You don't want to rub too hard and bend the leaves of the die. So I'm just holding it so it doesn't move too much. So I'm over here getting more ink on my pad or my brush. And it's just a light touch, because like I said, this is a very delicate, even though it's the cardstock vellum, it's still vellum. And I like to use the vellum. I mean, you could cut it out with cardstock if you want, but I like to use the vellum because if I have to lay it back over, which I've had to before, because I thought, oh, I've got enough, and then I didn't, I can see through it. All right, but I think that's going to be enough. So I'm wanting it, see, I want it to have a little bit of white around the edges, but I think that's going to be enough. So look how beautiful that is. And I hope you can see it, because sometimes when I rewatch the videos, I'm like, I couldn't even see that. Look how gorgeous that is. So I think you can see that now. But it's just that, and you could do the whole card, like you could do the whole card if you wanted to, because it's just so gorgeous. But I just want it just to be in the corner there. All right. So that just is the, because you can see all the, what are those, hens and chickens and all the succulents and stuff like that. Okay, so now we have that on the card. Then we are going to color our little sheep. So I'm just going to move that aside. And let me get a grid sheet. I was shredding today because the taxes are in, so then you can shred. You know, not last year's, but my accountant always tells me, you can now shred the year blah, blah, blah. So that's what I was doing. So there's paper everywhere. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to color the little sheep. What I want to do is cut them apart. I'm going to cut them out anyways, but that way I'm not brushing up against this one. Like if I have them side by side, my rings scratch on it. So this way, you know, I'm only going to have the one that I'm going to be messing with at a time. Okay, so we're going to use the light gray granite. Let me scoot down a little bit. Hopefully there's not a shadow. Sometimes there is. Hi, Jenny. How are you? All right. It is like kind of cold here today. It's almost like winter's back. All right, so I just want to put a little bit of the light gray granite, and I'm barely touching, because the sheep, she's kind of more whitish gray. So I'm not going to color her all the way in, and her little feet, because she is like a white kind of sheep. But white still has a color. All right, so then I want to use the dark gray granite. Now I remember one time we went to my mom and dad's in Canada. So see, I'm just going to add a little bit of dark right there. And they used to have sheep. So Jeff and Eric were helping and stomping down because they were getting them sheared. And oh my gosh, Jeff couldn't even bring those shoes home because they were just gross. They were like oily gross. But you know what? I do want to, while I'm coloring that one, I might as well color this little guy too. But I'm just only going to color the head of this one. So there, I don't know if would it be called lanolin? I really don't know. But it was just, so he just left those shoes there. I don't know if Mom still has the shoes or not. I want to say he did wear them one time. All right, so now I'm going to put a little bit of blue eyeshadow on her eyes, and this is just Pool Party. I want to put a little bit of grass. So I want to put a little grass under her feet. So this is just a dark granny apple. So what I'm going to do is I am coloring both sheep's heads, but I'm not coloring the body of this sheep because I'm going to cut her head off. Now she won't feel anything because she's sleeping, right? So she won't feel it. But that way I don't really need the body because I'm just going to cut her head off and just do her head. I'm going to pop her head off onto here. And I kept going back and forth. I was like, do I put a little bobble on her head? And then I decided that I wasn't going to because it made her head a little bit too high. So I'm just going to use dimensional. So her head will definitely be higher than her body. It just won't be as crazy high as if I used a wobbler or whatever thingy. All right, so now let me color the little flowers. And it's so funny this time of year, right? Like friends have their snow and then there's spring here and there's not spring there, and you look out and it's so nice. But like I said, it's pretty cool here today and it's pretty windy. So it's like we're having a little bit of winter. All right, now, so that was dark mango, and then this is going to be the dark So Saffron. And I love these two together because it gives you a dark and a light, and they're different, but they still go together. So I just love the look of it together. All right, so same with the I'm going to use the light Highland Heather. So that's going to be on this little flower. So this is the light Highland Heather. So that's why I chose Highland Heather cardstock. So everything coordinates. I love that about Stampin' Up. It all coordinates. And like if you use DSP, and surprise, surprise, I'm not even using DSP today. Can you imagine that? I'm kind of making my own little DSP by using that mask. All right, and then this is the, what did I say it was? It's the dark purple posy. So these go good together too. So you want to jump and get your purple posy blend before they're gone. And like I said, I hate to say get it and then you go and they're already gone, because you just don't know till you go to place your order. So, all right. So then I'm just going to go back, and this is with that light Highland, just a little bit again, just to make it a little darker on the edge. And this is such a cute spring set. Now it's kind of like spring Easter, but I'm making it a card that is not. It is not spring or Easter, because the stamp doesn't have to be that. All right, so I want to put a little bit of Flirty Flamingo on the cheeks, just a little bit, not a whole lot. And then, what is this? This is the dark petal pink. A little bit too, because I'm keeping her face fairly light. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the color lifter. Now the color lifter will just lighten those colors a little bit. So I'm just touching the edge, and then it's just going to soften that. So I don't want to take it away totally. I just want to soften those edges so they're not so harsh. And then as it dries, it's just going to soften and look super, super cute. I want to take my dark Poppy Parade, and I'm going to put little red centers on my flowers. All right, so I'm going to let those dry for a second and bring these two little critters back, because they should totally be dry by now. All right, so I'm going to color the butterfly for a minute there. I was like, my mind forgot what it was called. All right, butterfly. And then, so that was the light pumpkin, and then the dark pumpkin. And while I have the dark pumpkin out, I also want to put dark pumpkin on that cute little chicken's face. And I'm going to make her be a little baby chicken, and she is just going to be yellow. So I'm just using the same angle that I used on the flower on the front of the card. So everything looks all good and coordinated. And then I'll do the same thing with the saffron. So I'm just going to come over here with the saffron. So her face will be just a little bit lighter, and her body will be just a little bit lighter in areas. She is adorable. And then let's put a little bit of grass under her feet too, because she is not flying like the butterfly. She's standing on the ground. And we'll just put some dark gray granite there. All right, so I do believe I am done with the blend. So excuse me while that rattles, while I put those away. So they're out of the way. All right, so let's get back to our card. This is going to go on the inside. So let me put my adhesive on it. So that's going to go on the inside of the card. Now, who would you send this card to? Because it says sending sunshine for a beautiful birthday. So see, I made it not be an Easter card. Because you might look at this and go, well, Easter's over, or I don't celebrate Easter. I mean, I don't know. You know, everybody is different or whatever. But you want to look at certain things a different way. This is a cute, like, look at the bunny. I have used the bunny before, and it's too cute. A couple little flowers and stuff. Now, this kind of makes it more Eastery because of the Easter basket. But, you know, so I just wanted you to you know, maybe think about this stamp set, you know, a different way. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out this cute little sheep or lamb. All right. So like I always tell you, when you cut, you move whatever you're cutting, not the scissors. So see, I'm holding the scissors. I'm just basically squeezing the scissors. Let me cut that away. I'm squeezing the scissors and I'm moving my paper. So you just kind of look ahead at where you need to be. And I know I've talked about my granny, you know, many times over the years on my videos, and she loved to sit and cut. We had, I swear I had the best book reports because she would cut stuff out of magazines and newspapers, and, you know, she, you know, came from a different, what do you call that? Born in a different century or whatever. So they, you know, they didn't throw things away and stuff. And she would have boxes on whatever topic. And I would just say, I have to do a book report on, you know, the royal family or whatever. And she'd have a box. And you would get all these things. So we were very, very lucky. So I think that's where I learned to like a fussy cutting. Some people don't like to fussy cut, but I don't mind it. All right, so now she's going to go on here. And then this is the one that I colored just the head. So I'm going to cut her head out. So just look away, look away. She didn't feel it. She didn't feel it. Now this one, I'm going to cut closer. This one, I kind of went a little bit so that there's a tiny, tiny, tiny little white edge. But this one, I don't want that edge. So I'm going pretty close to the stamped image, so that I don't get that ghost. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do to get rid of it anyways, if there is still. But she is so cute. And I even had the wobbler thing out because I thought, oh, but like I said, it made her head be too high up. So you could put one, but I just chose not to. And then if you're going to mail, you want to make sure that you're not too poofy out. I sent my top 10 cards to my team. And luckily I was at the post office dropping off all the over the border boxes. And I gave her, you know, the envelopes, and she squeezed them and she goes, I think these are going to take an extra stamp. And I was like, oh. So I'm glad I went in there because they did. And it's because, you know, I had dimensionals and, you know, all sorts of stuff. So anyways, so you may or may not want a bobbler, a wobbler, or whatever when you're going to mail something. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my light gray granite, and I did pretty good, but there's a little bit of white here and just a tiny bit here. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my gray granite and I'm just going to very lightly go around my little head. And what that's going to do is it's going to soften up those white edges. You don't want to rub too hard. You don't want that gray to bleed into where you colored, but it's going to soften that white edge. All right, so there we have our cute little cutout head. So this is where I'm going to put my girl. So remember I said I chose a photopolymer so for my greeting, and that's because I want to be able to stamp my greeting and not boo-boo it. Now that doesn't mean I won't. So because anyone has watched my lives before know that I have totally boo-booed before. All right, so this is just my sweet friend, and I want that to go right here. Now usually I use usually I use this, right? Because I'm using photopolymer. or you can use this as well. But I got like a new, whatchamacallit, like to put under here. So this, it doesn't reflect the light. So I had, some people weren't a big fan of the wood one. So I still like the wood one. I'll still use the wood one for once in a while. But I thought I would try out my new one. And this is basically a big, huge mouse pad. So it has a little bit of gush to it. So I don't think I'll necessarily have to be using my mouse pad, you know, when I do the photopolymer, because this has a little bit of give. So it's allowing that photopolymer stamp to be able to smush down a little bit like the rubber do, right? It has that gray there. So it allows the stamp to squish down, where with the photopolymer, you don't have that. So it's more solid. So that's why if you have issues with your photopolymer stamping, you want to use the Pierce mat or, you know, something a little gushy. So anyways, not like over gushy, but just a little bit gushy. All right, so there's my cute little saying. And then I'm going to put my sheep on with dimensionals, because what I'm going to do is I want to pop her second head up. Now you might go, well, why did you bother coloring her head if you're going to cover it? And I'll show you why in a second. All right, so here we have the cute little sheep. And see how neat it is that you can see that background behind her? Look how pretty that cactus stuff is behind her. All right, so let me get her head. So this is the head that I cut. And I'm just going to put a bunch of dimensionals underneath here. And stick that on there. Now you could go even crazier. Like if you wanted to, you could pop her head. You could stamp another head, color it, and then cut out, hang on a minute. Whoop, cut out, look at that. I got her stuck to the thing. You could even cut this out. So then, it would be like paper tulle. My sister used to do paper tulle years ago. And she made some beautiful things. And basically it was just paper, like stacked, 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 right? Hey, Penny. So, I mean, if you wanted to, you know, you could do another one, then pop it. You could even like cut that flower out. You could have it be so dimensionalized, you know. So this is why I color the inside. So see? If someone looks from the side, they're seeing that colored little sheep. If you didn't color it, she'd be like a naked little sheep in there. So I just prefer that it looks more finished if you color the inside too, because you can see the inside. So, and then it's almost less obvious, right? But look how cute it is with her little head pushed out. All right, so let's get my cardstock layers. So my cardstock layers, I already showed you, I believe I did, are purple posy. And I did you could put a wobble. Yeah, Jeannie, I talked about that. And I even was going to, but it made her head be a little bit too high. So I could have maybe for this card, just to see the difference. But it made her head just be a little bit too high. So I didn't. But yes, I love the wobblers. The snail that I did the other day had the wobble, but nothing was underneath there. So maybe I should have did this one different just to compare, but I didn't. Because I will probably mail these and I don't want them to be too crazy fat. All right. So, and then that was Highland Heather, so that it goes with the ink color. So that's going to go on there. Hopefully it's straight. But I also wanted to add some of these cute. I'm so addicted to these flowers for every season gems. They are so, so adorable. So I want to add some to the card. So I'm just going to put some in this lid. Now they come like this. I keep showing you this old jar. They come like this in the thing. But I like old jars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few around. There's like little baby ones. There's bigger ones. It's always more pleasing to the eye if you use an odd number. I don't know why, but it is. All right. So those are where I want to place my little doohickeys. So I'm going to use, now these don't have glue, like these, because you can use them for shaker cards, so you really wouldn't want to have the glue on them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my green tip glue or the mono liquid, but it's got a green tip, so I always say green tip. And I'm just going to put a little drop. So I barely put a drop, barely. So I just kind of put a drop. I knew where I wanted them. Then I just put a little glue right beside it, so they'll just be a smidge moved from where I originally put them. So this is just the whatchamacallit. Oh, and I used it somewhere, so now it's not on my desk. But it's just the picker tool, and I just don't put it into the thing because I always have the brush somewhere else, like it is now. And it's just as easy to be used like this. All right. But look how cute. They're like little water droplets. That's what they look like. They look like little droplets of water. And they won't take too long to dry because that green tip glue dries pretty quick. So, hi, Anjanette. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen you on here. Okay, so here's the two together. And I probably could have put a wobble. But like I said, it would make the head be quite a bit higher. So I didn't. But so anyways, but there you go. So I think you all need these flowers for every season gems. And like I said, when you order 75 this month before tax and shipping, you will get a pack of them. So I will send them to you in April with your March thank you card. So you want to make sure you do them this month. Make sure you use that hostess code that I told you about. Shall I show you again? You're like, please don't show us again. But look it, I did. There it is. So there's the March host code. All right. So that should do it for today with the cute little lamb cards. And then look how cute that is in the inside. I think that whoever gets those are going to love that card. Don't you think? Whoever gets it. So definitely look at your stamp sets differently. And I like the welcome window. That's the one I got the greeting from. It has some really cute sayings. It even has like a welcome. Because you could even make it be like a baby card. Like a welcome. But, and it has a cute saying in there. It says, wishing our paths crossed a little more often. Isn't that the truth? So, all right. So I will say see you later. I will see you tomorrow for my What You Making Wednesdays. That's at 2 o'clock Arizona time. And that is on my YouTube channel. So if you're watching this replay on YouTube, you are in the right spot. If you're watching this live with everybody on Facebook, make sure you go over to YouTube and subscribe to my channel. And then it will let you know. So then, you don't miss it. Because of the time change has got everybody all messed up. Because Arizona doesn't change its time. So if you're set your clock to go, oh, Diana goes at whatever time, and then you're off because we didn't move our clocks. Okay, everyone. Thanks, Jeannie. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone. Bye for now. Oh, wait. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. All right. Here we go. See ya.